Hi everyone, welcome to Tales of Dread. In this episode we dive in the mind of the beast, the Dogman. As I hunch over across the way, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe below for more scary stories. I can't stop thinking about why you're in my woods. Why do you people keep coming here and getting in my bubble? You come here every week and stay for 123 days, camping out, making a fire on my land, drinking, making a lot of noise, and stealing. It makes me really mad because I like to hunt in peace. I don't like people from outside coming to my place, but you keep coming. I get a little bit interested sometimes. I'll get a little bit closer. Every once in a while, someone will see the fire in my eyes reflected in their own. Of course, by the time they tell their other friends, nobody believes them, because I'm so fast. If you try to come after me, it will be the last thing you ever do. This is my house and not yours. You're all trespassing. Did you eat food while you were sleeping? I'll look through everything you own. Eat what I want, take what I want, and then poop all over your poop? Because, as I've already said, this is mine and you don't belong here. Anyone who comes into my woods should know this. Be careful of me, be careful of the Dogman. Wait a minute, I need to break this Coca-Cola bottle open. I know I'm one of those stupid people who forgot to bring water on a hike but still had soda left over. I know I'm not the smartest person in the group, but it's better than nothing, right? Right? I was there with my friend Tom. We were in a nice place near the edge of our small town where we liked to go hiking. We live in the New Hampshire state. We've been here our entire lives. We're big fans of the Northeast. You can't find anything better. Well, I take that back. No, it's winter. That's why I'd rather be elsewhere. Anyway, this happened at the beginning of winter, before there was much snow, but it was still as cold as hell. Lucky for me, my friend Tom was smarter than I was. He had a backpack with a canteen of water on his belt buckle. The canteen was inside the backpack. He brought a hatchet, some beef jerky, some trail mix, some water, and some chips. As I said before, I brought some soda, and that was it. I hadn't thought about food at all until just now. I have no idea what was going through my mind. We go hiking a lot, and I'm usually pretty prepared. But the last week was very strange. I had a lot going on, to be honest. In any case, it was close to 5 o'clock. The sun was beginning to go down. We had been in the woods for about 3 miles and were on our way back to our truck. It was beautiful. Absolutely stunning outside. There's something about being outside that really makes me feel. So, how do I explain it? It's spiritual, and I'm not even Indian, I'm Irish. We only know how to drink, but we'll talk about that in a different story. Anyway, at the end of my hiking stick was one of those steel spike things. I have no idea what to call it. I got it years ago at a Viking festival. It's a great tool for hiking, and I thought it might also be good for self-defense, just in case. But Tom has to do something better than me, just like he always does. As I said before, he did bring a hatchet, which is probably a lot deadlier and more effective than my stick with a steel point on the end. Anyway, we were probably only about a half mile from the parking lot when we heard something scuffling around us. It sounded like something was moving quickly. I turned around, but I didn't see anything. I didn't think much of it. They can. Who knows, maybe it was just a deer. We're in the woods, so anything could happen. We kept walking back, but we stopped when we heard a howl. Even though we have heard coyotes before, this was very different. It seemed too close to be safe. I stopped and I grabbed his arm. Tom. What the hell was that person trying to say? At this point, he had his hatchets so tightly in his hands that his knuckles were white. He just shook his head and shrugged. We moved toward the truck at a slow but steady pace at first. Whatever it was at this point was close and knew we were there. Don't make too much noise. We were almost running at this point, but try not to trip over any vines, loose twigs, or other things that could cause you to lose your balance and fall. Get out. As soon as we heard that in the woods all around us, we ran as fast as we could back to the truck. Neither one of us was curious enough to try to figure out who or what was talking to us. We heard stories about these woods, but we didn't pay attention to them or believe them. Before that day, once we got to the truck, we'd jump in, hit the gas, and get the hell out of there. Since this happened last night, we've never gone hiking there again. I made this recording just in case. I was with a group of tourists in the country of beliefs in South America. We were going to look at the Mayan pyramids. It was so beautiful and amazing that it still blows my mind that people in South America built pyramids. On the other side of the world, in Egypt, they do the same thing, but it's a lot more advanced. I'll tell you what it was, it had to be aliens. Our tour was coming to an end. We must have had at least 35 people on our bus. There was another group there before we got there. The sun was going down and it was almost dark, so they lit their torches around the tourist attraction. That's when the sounds came on all of a sudden. Then, out of nowhere, I heard what sounded like girls. Then I and a few other people hid behind a rock. It just watched in horror as this furry thing jumped out of the woods and attacked a tourist right in front of us on one of the lower levels of the pyramid. This animal was really big. It had dark dog-like features on its face, but it was hunched over and sometimes galloped on all fours like a man. Most of the time, though, it stood up straight. It makes you almost think of that underworld movie with all the lichens. But I had to be something. I don't know if it was a werewolf or a dog, a human or a skinwalker. I don't know, it all happened so quickly. The blood was everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. I got goosebumps all over my body all of a sudden. It felt like a chill was going down my spine. I turned around when I heard a familiar growl coming from behind me. Phil wrote, "My run-in with a Dogman." This happened in July of 2016, but I still remember it as if it were yesterday. I went to the southern part of Norway, where I have a small cabin for vacations. The cabin is outside and above a small town called Egg. It is about 65 kilometers north of the ports of Kristiansand. To get to the cabin, you have to drive from Evie up a paved road into the hills. Along the way, you'll see lakes, a few houses, a lot of forest, and water running through it. My cabin was at the very end of that area, 16 kilometers into the wilderness. There was only one other cabin 500 meters away, but it was only used sometimes. I'm by myself out there. My cabin is on a hillside above a small lake. On the third day after I got there, I went outside to smoke a cigarette on the deck of my cabin. It was around 10 at night. In the summer, the sun doesn't really set, so it's still very light outside. I started to hear noises, splashes of water, and grunts coming from the lake below. The deck is about 30 meters from the shore to the cabin, so I walked to the edge of the deck to see what was going on. When I looked down at the shore, I saw a hairy creature hunched over and trying to drag a dead moose onto the shore by the neck. The thing turned around, and I think it did so because it saw me looking at it. It violently swung its head around, gave me a grim look, turned its back on me, and ran into the bushes without a care. About 180 centimeters tall, the creature was about the size of a man. Weight? I'd have to guess. Not more than 250 pounds, the snow was sticking out like the ears of a wolf, but it wasn't too big. It had black and brown hair that looked like taft. The arms and legs were the right size, the legs were straight, and the body was pretty slim. I went back inside the cabin, got scared, and locked and blocked the back door and windows. I went to a utility room by the front door to get an axe, sat in a chair by the back door with the lights off and only the oven fireplace lit, and I could not believe what I saw. I was even more scared when I found out that in the far southern Norway, there are almost no wolves or bears. After 10 minutes, I heard the wildest house I've ever heard. They kind of sounded crazy or crazy mad. I didn't even try to get to my car, which was in front of the building near the main entrance. I was so scared that I couldn't close even one eye all night. The house and the noise in the bushes outside went on for most of the night. The next day, I left the cabin carefully and got in my car to drive into town. The problem is that I can't connect to the internet or anything else out there. I went to the police station right away to tell them what I had seen. The government told me. I think it was just a big dog trying to scare me away. I thought they'd laugh, but they didn't. They didn't look at me and started speaking Norwegian to each other. They looked directly at each other. But I was complimented outside because I was getting angry at being put off like that and not getting a copy of the report or anything like that. During the last few days of my stay, nothing else happened except that the moose's body was picked up, leaving nothing behind. I asked a local if there were any bears or wolves down that far south, just to make sure of what I already knew. He answered, no. On top of all that, I forgot to mention that the creature pretty much went off running on 2 legs, even though it was getting better. I feel scared even in familiar places like my house, my yard, and so on. I've only found a little bit of peace on social media and by listening to Vic's show, which I found when I was searching online after my encounter, before all this happened. I used to be the kind of person who would laugh at the idea of cryptids and other strange things. I was so shocked that I thought I was going crazy and questioned my sanity. Even now, I find it hard to believe any of it, even though I don't want to, but I can't deny what I saw that night. Well, I hope you all liked tonight's 4 Deepwood Dogman stories. They gave me chills for sure. That's certain. Please like, comment, and subscribe, share it with your friends, and spread me around like butter.